How's it going, everyone? It's Salvi from Weather SpongeBob. Today is December 7th, 2021, and today we're going to focus on the next major Midwest snowstorm that could bring up to a foot of snow in a lot of areas in the United States, as well as the Clipper system that's moving through the Northeast. That's expected to bring a marginal amount of snowfall, especially in the interior Northeast. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the United States radar map as of right now, and we do see that there isn't a lot of precipitation going on throughout the lower 48 right now. We do see a couple of snow showers, and this is associated with the low pressure system I've been talking to you guys about over the past several days that had the possibility of dumping heavy snow to the Northeast, but it seems like that chance has mitigated to a very small chance of dumping much of any snow, at least along the coast in the Northeast. But we could see some marginal amount of snowfall in the interior Northeast. While these snow showers aren't necessarily very large in terms of area it's impacting, it's actually going to get larger as it encounters just a little bit more instability as it gets closer and closer to the Atlantic Ocean, where of course we're going to see the cool air interact with the warmer Atlantic Ocean water, and that'll create just enough of an unstable environment to develop a small low pressure system just off the Northeast coast. However, the low pressure system, by the time it develops just off the Northeast coast, won't really be very strong. I'll show you guys that right now. So let's move back to around 6 hour mark. You see that as we move forward, according to the European model, while we do see a low pressure system develop just off the East Coast, the low pressure system is far enough from the East Coast to not really bring much of any precipitation, at least in the form of snowfall along the coast, as primarily the snow showers are affecting areas further northward, which is pretty much an outside entity from this low pressure system located right here. And it's not until later these two low pressure systems sort of combine into one and definitely develops into a much more formidable low pressure system. But by that point, it's gonna stay far off the Northeast coast to bring any major impacts, because you see that pressure drops quite rapidly from 1,007 millibars around the 18-hour mark from now, around 24-hour mark from now, or actually from the 36-hour mark from now. And if we were to move forward only around 12 hours, that millibar pressure drops from 1,007 millibars to 983 millibars. So that is undergoing bombogenesis, except at a much faster pace, because the definition of bombogenesis is if a low pressure system drops 24 millibars in 24 hours. This is expected to drop around 24 millibars in only 12 hours, which is quite mind-blowing how fast this low pressure system will develop just off Northeast coast. But by that time, it's going to be well off the Northeast United States, and it'll mainly only impact eastern Canada. So you shouldn't expect the major impacts associated with this more stronger low pressure system throughout the United States. So you won't really see a significant snowstorm out of that. However, you will at least see some snow associated with this Clipper system, as it does encounter just a little bit of instability. It brings some snow showers, especially in the interior portions of the Northeast, but not really impacting the coast. You might be wondering, well, how much exact snowfall we could expect from this area of snow showers. And if we were to move forward, you see that it isn't a lot, but we still do see a pretty large area of 1 to 3 inches throughout the interior Northeast, which is enough to at least be aware of. You're gonna need a shovel out your driveway in some localized areas where the snowfall could be a little bit higher, and also it'll create maybe more slick road conditions, so you want to pay close attention to that in the interior Northeast. But outside of that, this shouldn't be much of any significant snowstorm. It seems like the southern portion of the Northeast, more specifically the more populated sector, won't really experience much of any, not only accumulating snowfall, but it's very well possible you won't even see snow fall from the sky at all, which might be a bummer for some of you who do enjoy the snow. But it doesn't seem there's a likely chance that you're going to see any sort of snow, as it should primarily be just cloudy tomorrow with maybe a slight chance of some flurries here and there, but most of the snow should stay up over the interior Northeast. But now let's move on to our next topic. Oh, and by the way, the GFS model does agree pretty much with the European model when it comes to Northeast Snowstorm. So as you can see, they're both taking right around 1 to 3 inches of snow associated with this first snowstorm, but nothing more than that. But now let's move on to our next topic, which is more significant and will impact a much larger amount of people, and that's this next Midwest snowstorm that's expected to impact a lot of areas in the central area of the country. So if we were to move forward, you see that this low pressure system eventually moves to the Northeast, not bringing much of any impacts to the Northeast, and then behind it we do see a small clipper system move just north of the Canadian and United States border. All in the meanwhile, we see another area of snow showers and rain showers come from the Pacific Northwest and move directly southward into the southwest areas of the United States. And this is a direct result of this clipper system bringing just enough of a strong northerly flow to steer this area of snow showers for southward, because you see that these two entities sort of just diverge away from each other with pretty much a low pressure system and its northwesterly flow steering this area of snow showers further southward. So we could see snow showers throughout Nevada, extending to the higher elevations of California as well, so you want to watch out for that. And this extends to Utah, where you could see heavy snow out of this, and this could include Salt Lake City, so make sure to keep that in mind. And when we see a low pressure system from the Pacific Northwest bring this much cold air behind it and move this far south, it typically is the anatomy of a major snowstorm bound to happen for a lot of the United States, because you see that this low pressure system develops rapidly, dropping down to 993 millibars after being non-existent just before it. And it's because we're seeing a strong northwesterly flow that's bringing a lot of cold air further southward, and it's interacting with a very warm and moist environment that's located still in the southeast. And the low pressure system will tap into the Gulf of Mexico eventually, and it'll have ample moisture to pretty much create a major snowstorm for the Midwest. As we're seeing right now, this cold air is interacting with the warm air, which is forcing a lot of the air molecules and the water vapor to be a lot more buoyant in the more moist and warm side. And as a result, it reaches the atmosphere at a much faster clip, which means that we're going to see faster condensation and overall faster convection for more precipitation to occur. And not only that, the precipitation will be at we'll see precipitation rates at a much higher clip when the convection is a lot higher, of course, because we're going to see that water vapor rise up and condense rapidly aloft in the atmosphere. But if we were to continue to move forward, you see the low pressure system continues to strengthen but maintain its strength by the time it reaches Kansas. But we're still seeing the heavy snow right around Wyoming. Denver is getting involved in some snow, Nebraska extending maybe to Omaha, and then we're seeing the snow now extend to Minnesota, the southern portion. This could impact Minneapolis as well. This is affecting Iowa as well, and you see that this continues to strengthen, and we see quite a significant jet stream dip right behind it, where we're seeing a strong northerly flow, and that's forcing that cold air to interact with the warm air, which is creating a lot of lift and convection in the atmosphere, where there is that possibility we could see some severe weather associated with this jet stream dip on the eastern side of this mid-latitude cyclone. As you can see, the storm becomes strong enough to where the low pressure develops a mid-latitude cyclone look as it heads further eastward, which represents that there's a quite formidable low pressure system, and it's dumping a heavy amount of snow. And this is only around 3 to 4 days from now this is impacting you guys, so we could forecast this with a little bit more certainty, especially since the European model also is very similar when it comes to the trajectory and the strength of this low pressure system, as there wasn't much changes yesterday compared to today. If we were to take a look at the European model's case, you're going to see that the European model is still very similar with its trajectory and where it's bringing the heavy snowfall. You see nearly identical to the GFS model. So this definitely helps because it gives a lot more confidence with the forecast. But again, I still must state that we're still 3 to 4 days out from this snowstorm occurring, so there definitely could be changes, but I'd say more likely than not a major snowstorm will occur in the Midwest based on the trend we've been seeing with computer models, where they haven't really been changing the exact trajectory and the fact that there's a major snowstorm that's going to happen in the Midwest. However, while the two computer models do look pretty much nearly identical, there's still uncertainty regarding the forecasts, more strictly to track, because while, yes, I said the track looks very identical, the trajectory of the slow pressure system looks very identical, but even the smallest differences in the trajectory could make big differences in terms of what type of impacts you experience in certain areas, because it only takes around a 20-mile difference for some areas to make the difference between maybe 8 inches of snow to maybe no snow, especially if you're closer to that rain snow line, which will be another one of those forecasts where you're going to need to pay attention to that in the areas further southward, closer to low pressure systems, especially maybe around Chicago needs to pay attention to this. Because any minuscule changes in the forecast could make big differences in certain areas. So let's take a look at a snowfall accumulation forecast to really see what differences the two computer models have, even though based on the precipitation map, they look quite similar. You see that the European model is sort of taking this taking the heaviest snow right around the 6 to 12 inch category, right around northern Iowa, right around southeastern Minnesota, right around Wisconsin as well, and this extends into Nebraska, Wyoming, and you see that the higher elevations of Colorado are easily experiencing over a foot of snow, and Denver, Colorado, the European model isn't expecting a lot of snow, maybe around 1 to 3 inches, but there is that possibility you could receive more. So you see the European model is taking the snow as far south as Kansas and as far north as the extreme southern portions of South Dakota. And the reason why I say this is going to be a very close forecast is because look at the major cities such as Minneapolis and Chicago. You guys are pretty much right along the line between no snow and quite heavy snow, as if you only go maybe around 20 miles south of Minneapolis, the snow forecast changes to 3 to 6 inches, but if you go 20 miles north, it's no snow, or not even 20 miles north, maybe even 10 miles north, it's no snow. And same goes for Chicago, where if you just go maybe around 10 miles north, you could be in the 3 to 6 inch category. So it's going to be a very close forecast depending on trajectory. Let's take a look at the GFS model to see how it compares to what the European model is saying right now. So if we were to take a look at that based off on the 18Z run, moving forward with this, you're going to see that the GFS model, while identical, is taking quite a different forecast because it's leaning more towards the heaviest snow being a little bit further northward than the European model, because you see that in this scenario, Minneapolis is easily experiencing right around 3 to 6 inches and close to 6 to 12 inches. It's right in between the purple and the blue in this scenario, while for the European model, it's right between maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow to no snow at all, which the difference between maybe receiving 6 to 12 inches and 1 to 3 inches is huge, and this trajectory between the two is only maybe around a 30-mile difference. So that makes a big difference. And also, if you take a look at Chicago is right in between 1 inch of snow to no inches to 1 to 3 inches of snow to not receiving any snow in the European model. But the GFS model in this scenario is really confident that the Chicago won't receive any snow, as the snow area should be well far to the north of you guys, while the European model isn't ruling out the scenario where Chicago receives snow. So there's a lot of uncertainty we need to cover over the next several days. And also taking a look at Denver, you guys are receiving no snow from this, so it is definitely something we need to pay close attention to. We need to take a look at how the jet stream will exactly build up along the western half of the United States, because that will really determine the trajectory of this storm, and that could make big differences with the forecast. Really all depends on how strong this northwesterly flow associated with this first Clipper system moving through will be to really determine the jet stream dip, and as a result the trajectory of this storm. And the ridge that's located in the southeast will also play a role depending on its location. It could make an effect on the jet stream and as a result the trajectory of the solar system. So we need to just wait and see, but I'd say with certainty that more likely than not the Midwest will receive a major snowstorm. It's just a matter of who exactly will get impacted. While in the areas in the middle, right in the middle of the snow area, there's a lot more confidence you'll receive heavy snow from this, but in the areas just outside of it, in either like computer model scenario, it definitely becomes tougher. So we need to pay close attention to how the jet stream builds throughout the United States over the next week to really determine how much snow you'll receive. Next, let me show you guys my snowfall forecast currently based on the two computer models. So for the Northeast, like I said, this Clipper system that's expected to move through by tomorrow will mainly dump an area of 1 to 3 inches, but I'm expecting a little bit more over the next week, 3 to 6 inches as a result of some lake effect snow, and the higher elevations typically do receive more snow. So if you're in the higher elevations of the Northeast or close to the Great Lakes, you want to pay close attention that you could receive quite a bit of snow out of this Clipper system. But of course the main focus is this major Midwest snowstorm, and you see that I'm expecting a large area of 6 to 12 inches. This extends to Green Bay, Wisconsin. This extends to the northern portion of Michigan. This extends to Iowa. Des Moines is right between the area of 3 to 6 to 6 to 12 inches, so you want to pay close attention to that. Nebraska is receiving 6 to 12. Southeastern Wyoming is receiving 6 to 12. And I'm expecting around 12 to 24 inches in the higher elevations of Colorado. And of course, just south of that, keep in mind, this is definitely subject to change. It's going to be very close if you're right on the edge of this snow area, because any small differences could mean the difference of heavy snow to no snow. But just south of it, I'm expecting 3 to 6 inches. This might include Milwaukee, but Milwaukee, again, you're right between that area of 3 to 6 and 1 to 3. So we need to pay close attention to any small changes in the forecast. And same goes for Minneapolis, where you're in the 3 to 6 inch category, but you're right in between the 1 to 3 inch category and 6 to 12 inch category. So this is going to be a little difficult to forecast. And Chicago, again, you're just outside the 1 to 3 inch mark, but you want to at least be aware of this, because any changes, especially a change for the southward, could bring your first snowfall for you guys. And Denver, Colorado, I'm expecting around 1 to 3, but again, it's also uncertain for that area as well. So make sure to at least be aware of this throughout the Midwest, and I'd say prepare. It's better to be safe than sorry in the Midwest, and we're only around 3 days out, so the likelihood of a major snowstorm is pretty high at this point. Even if you don't necessarily get impacted, it's better to be safe than sorry, and better, especially since you could use your preparation for potentially the next snowstorm. So make sure to be aware of this in the Midwest. But yeah, guys, I guess that's it for this video. I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. I hope you guys have a good day.